Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and Coach Josh Swain, the head coach of the Ponca City Ladycat softball team, is with us. And a lot has happened since we spoke with Coach Swain, and regionals was what happened. Now, the end result wasn't exactly what any one of us wanted, and I know the team wanted to go to state. That didn't happen, but what did happen was an interesting back and forth between the Lady Cats and Muskogee. Tell us about that. You're really cruising to a victory in that first game with Muskogee. They come back in the last inning, scored 5 runs, so they win that first game. But boy, that second game you had to play Muskogee again that night. Tell us how that went down, because that went down very well.
The first day was definitely a roller coaster ride for sure. And like you said, we were cruising for 5 or 6 innings. Pitching was outstanding. We had put 6 runs up, and through 5 or 6 innings, we had thought that it would be enough. They've got their 1 through 5 were really, really talented, and we had shut them down for the first 6 innings. And they had started off that bottom of the 7th inning with their lead off, and so they strung a few hits together, and a couple walks and an error on our part. Ended up in a heartbreaking loss. And so we talked to the girls for a long time in between games, and that was the first time in a long time that we had seen a lot of emotion out of our kids. We had 6 seniors that were staring their last game potentially right in the face, and so we had about a 3 or 4 hour break just to kind of let that loss sink in. And we came back out that second game, and we put up 7 or 8 runs in the first couple innings, and we're in a really similar situation to the way it was the first game, and the girls just didn't take their foot off the gas, and we were able to end it early, and it was a lot of fun.
So what did you say as a coach? Is that will that be one of the memorable speeches from you that these players will take with them throughout their lives?
It's a tough spot, and it was kind of an emotional time for me as well. And when you're in elimination time and it's potentially your last game, it's tough for everybody. And it was one of those times where, as a coaching staff, we didn't really have to say anything at all. When we were walking off the field after that loss, it was really tough. And so our seniors rallied together. We had that 3 or 4 hours to kind of sit back and let that sink in. And luckily, it's a double elimination regional. You got a chance to go avenge that loss, and we did.
11-0. They did very well. The next day, of course, Owasso did end up winning and going to the state tournament. It brought the season to a close for the Lady Cats, but a very successful season. Just to recap, if you will, not just the record, but some individual performances and some highlights that that were very memorable for the season.
We ended up 22-15 every year. We always set 20 wins as a goal, and that's kind of your magic number in softball. And so we were really, really excited that we got to hit that number. But we got outstanding pitching again. Kelsey, she kind of battled through some injuries right there in the middle of the year, but it was a great chance for us to kind of prepare for the future a little bit. Libby Clark, our sophomore, got some valuable innings, and our seniors all put up really, really good numbers. I think everyone improved on their batting average with all 6 seniors, so that was really exciting. But just for preparing for the future, we had our sophomore third baseman Aubrey Jones got some really valuable innings. Our freshman first baseman Margaret Backstar, she led us in home runs. She had a huge grand slam in that second Muskogee game that kind of slammed the door. So we had some younger players get some very valuable innings and hopefully prepare us pretty well for the future.
Well, as a coach, Josh, you got to be excited when you see these younger players. I mean, getting a lot of playing time and really showing some incredible promise for the years to come.
Yeah, Margaret Blackstar, like I mentioned, she started every game this year at first base. She led us with 5 home runs, and she hit right around 400. So for a freshman jumping up from the junior high to 6A varsity pitching, that was really exciting.
That is a big deal.
Libby Clark. She got some valuable innings. I think she threw in about 18 to 20 games. So that was really, really exciting. And 6A pitching, it's tough, and
Yeah.
it's tough for anybody on any team. But I was really proud of the way she came in and pitched, and then Aubrey Jones, third base it's a tough position to play in softball too,
Certainly.
especially with the teams that we've got to play. And I thought she
Yeah.
did a really good job, and so we'll look for those three. To kind of lead us, along with Cameron Suggs and Kaylee Meyer will be back also. So, it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful future for the Ladycat softball team. And Coach Josh Swain is with us here for this edition of Coach's Corner. And the off season, you're going to take fall break, kind of let this week kind of settle and let everyone have their fall break and enjoy that. Then Monday the 22nd, the off season starts. And if you're curious like me, you're like, well, what does off season for softball look like? Well, does it include practices? What does it include?
Usually, like you said, we'll take a couple-week break after just to relax, because it is such a grind for those 2 months. We'll give the kids a little bit of time off, but then as soon as we come back from fall break, we'll be in the weight room, and we take the girls to Robson Fieldhouse and do some conditioning things in there also. So it's really cold about that November, December, January time, so it'll be a while before we get back onto the field, but we'll take advantage of having our new strength and conditioning coach, Garrett, and he'll get after it, and I think that's the best way to kind of close the gap between the Broken Arrows and Owassos, and is the weight room. And so we're going to take full advantage of that and get ready to go for next year.
The softball banquet. Tell us about it.
We are setting a date for that this evening. So it's usually the first couple days of November, but
Okay.
that's always an exciting time for me, and I know the kids love it too. But it's just really to kind of reflect back on the season and acknowledge all those players that had really special seasons, and one last time to be together as a group before girls go off to separate sports and things like that. And
sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Josh Swain with us. And the Ponca City Ladycat softball team with a wonderful season. And Coach Swain, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
That's Coach Josh Swain, and we look forward to having Coach Swain with us again next school year and next season right here on Coach's Corner. Well, that's going to do it for Coach's Corner. I appreciate you watching for Ponca City Public Schools. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Thank you, and until next time.